Hey guys, it's Kyla at the MJC, and this time I am back with a video series where we're going to walk you guys through the Part 2 Contested, aka Separately, without minor children. So we'll get to that in a minute, but as always, I just want to remind you guys that nothing in these videos is intended to be legal advice. It is a video, so while I'm about to give you some general information and some general situations when the paperwork is appropriate, I can't analyze if it is right for your specific situation. I can't analyze whether you're likely to get what you're asking for, whether a judge can approve your proposal, or anything like that. So if you have those sorts of questions, it would definitely be good to get some legal advice. Here in Milwaukee, you can get brief legal advice for free through the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics. If you aren't located in Milwaukee, you can get in touch with your clerk of court to find out what resources are available in your area. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is when should you use the contested without minor children paperwork? Looking at that, you're going to use the contested paperwork when you and your spouse disagree about property division or maintenance. I mean, that's obviously the big one. So if you and your spouse started separately because you don't agree about getting divorced, or you don't agree about property division, you don't agree about maintenance, then you would continue with the contested forms. If you and your spouse started jointly, so maybe you guys filled out that joint petition together, and now realize that you have some disagreements about dividing property or whether one or the other of you should receive maintenance. If that's the case, you can continue in these contested forms. If your spouse is unwilling or unable to sign forms, you'll also use the contested forms. So sometimes we will get people that say, I think my spouse would agree to what I'm asking for because it's not very, I'm just asking to keep my stuff, but my spouse won't fill out a financial disclosure and they definitely won't sign off on the forms. So that could be a situation where even though you think your spouse will probably agree, you're still going to do the contested, the separate forms, because your spouse just isn't willing to participate in the process. Another reason you might end up using the contested forms is if your spouse is unwilling or unable to attend your final divorce hearing. So again, some folks will say, I think my spouse would agree to this, but they definitely aren't going to come to court and, they won't attend hearings or anything. Or maybe, they'll say, well, my spouse lives in, the Congo and they don't have really good cell service, and I don't even think they could call in and appear by phone at a hearing or anything like that. So in those situations, you might end up going forward contested, even though you think it is most likely that your spouse might sign off. But otherwise, if you and your spouse agree on everything, they are willing to fill out and sign forms, and they are willing and able to attend the divorce hearing. If all of those things are true, then you could fill out either the joint without minor children paperwork or the stipulated without minor children paperwork, depending on how you started. But this video assumes that you fall into one of these categories. So either you and your spouse disagree about property division, or your spouse is no longer willing to participate in the entire process, or maybe they were never willing to participate in the entire process. And so what forms do you need? What forms you'll need to fill out for the Part 2 when you're filing contested. You will need to fill out a request for pretrial form. Please note that the request for pretrial form is a Milwaukee-specific form. So that means it doesn't have a form number. You can find it on our website, www.milwaukeejusticecenter.org. If you're looking for that form. You can also get it from the Milwaukee County Law Library, which is located in the courthouse. It's room G8, but they are located within the room G9 suite. If you are in a county other than Milwaukee, then they most likely do not require the request for pretrial. I believe that is just used here in Milwaukee County. So if you find yourself in another county, you may not need that form. You'll need to do the financial disclosure statement. You can see that one here. That one you can see the form number here, FA4139V. You do need to complete a financial disclosure statement, even if you and your ex or your soon-to-be ex have already split up all of your stuff, even if you own no things in common, even if you never lived together, never owned stuff together. Everyone does have to do a financial disclosure. You will need to do the proposed marital settlement agreement without minor children. That proposed is really important. Some folks will fill out a marital settlement agreement, and that is only correct if you're filing together. So for most of you, it's going to be that proposed marital settlement. Well, for everyone doing contested, it will be a proposed marital settlement. If you are requesting maintenance, you'll do an interim financial summary. If you are not requesting maintenance, then you can skip that one. You'll need to do the order for pretrial order to appear. Again, that is another Milwaukee-specific form. You will get that one for most folks. You can get a self-copying one from the law library, again, room G8 in the Milwaukee County Courthouse, and it's located within the G9 suite there. But as I'm recording this right now, we are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, which means that the order for pretrial order to appear, there is one available online right now as a writable PDF. You should be able to find that on our website, again, www.milwaukeejusticecenter.org. You will need a declaration of non-military service. The divorce annulment worksheet. The divorce annulment worksheet is only needed if you are filing a divorce. If you are filing for a legal separation, you will need all of these other forms, but you don't need this divorce annulment worksheet here. The findings of fact and conclusions of law and judgment without minor children. The party's approval of the findings of fact and conclusions of law and judgment, and the abridgment regarding surname. So I know it looks like a lot of forms, but through this video series, I'm going to go through each of these forms, explain how to fill them out, and try and give you all the tips and tricks that I have found out, helping people fill out these forms for years now. So that is the end of this intro video, and I look forward to walking you guys through all of these forms. Thank you for listening. I hope that this was helpful. If you have additional questions, remember that you can always come in and see us in person. At least once we're out of the coronavirus pandemic, you can come in and see us in person in room G9 of the Milwaukee County Courthouse. And if you have legal advice questions, you can contact the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics here in Milwaukee County. Until the next video, thank you guys for watching. Now go out and represent yourselves well.